This is the Farm Monitor. For over 50 years, your source for agribusiness news and features from around the Southeast and across the country, focusing on one of the nation's top industries, agriculture. The Farm Monitor is produced by one of the largest general farm organizations, the Georgia Farm Bureau. Now here are your hosts, Ray DeLesio and Kenny Bergamy.
And with that, we say welcome to our home away from home, the Farm Monitor studio in Macon, Georgia. However, we're not going to spend a lot of time here.
No, we're not. Jennifer Parson in for Kenny this week, and here's what's coming up on the show.
I'm Damon Jones here in Washington, D.C., where a delegation of County Farm Bureau presidents made their way to Capitol Hill. I'll tell you about their mission to advocate for Georgia agriculture, as well as some of the key topics they brought up with lawmakers.
From college side hustle to a thriving family farm, meet the couple whose passion for quality lamb is reshaping the market. Plus,
well, hey everybody, Ranger Nick. Coming up a little bit later, I'm hanging out in the woods. I'm actually dragging for ticks, not pulling a sled through the woods. And I'm spending time with some researchers at the College of Veterinary Medicine at UGA who are studying ticks, mosquitoes, and some of the effects on disease, not only for livestock, but also for people. That and a whole lot more starts right now on the Farm Monitor.
Each year, County Farm Bureau presidents convene in the nation's capital to engage directly with lawmakers and to advocate for policies crucial to their farms. Damon Jones reports on the significance of these in-person dialogues and provides a comprehensive update on the Farm Bill.
Home to world-class museums, breathtaking monuments, and some of the most powerful people in the world, Washington, D.C. serves as the backdrop for those looking to affect change. That's why every year GFB County presidents make their way up to the nation's capital to voice their concerns with lawmakers.
Without trips like this, with president's trips and our young farmers' trips, it kind of causes a bit of a chasm between what our members in Congress hear and what is actually being felt. So the more times we can get our real farmers and ranchers in front of them and let them kind of tell them what the effects of certain policies and rulings are, that better allows members of Congress to implement better policy.
With the margins now tighter than ever around the farm, there were a number of topics to discuss with legislators, and on the forefront of those was the passage of a new farm bill.
Right now with the farm bill, we're kind of in a deadlock between House and Senate. We have slim majorities in both, and there hasn't been a lot of movement this Congress, but we believe that the House will be moving shortly on introducing a bill.
That is just one of many priority issues brought up in the meetings with members of the House and Senator John Ossoff, which is why having such a diverse representation on this trip is so vital.
Some of them may not know what's going on. There's a lot of issues that pop up. Everything from like the dicamba ban that affects soybean and cotton producers so much with pigweed problems, to some of these late freezes that may hit, and some of our farmers, producers need some disaster assistance. And we have a varied group of people from muscadine growers to cotton farmers to soybean farmers to animals to horses to cows, dairy, beef cows, all up here that can explain the hands-on reason that we need some policy done.
However, this is just a small representation of Georgia agriculture, which is why each and every farmer around the state is encouraged to reach out to their state and national officials, voicing their concerns.
It's effective through quality and quantity. So if you have an office that's getting hit up with certain issues, they're going to start to take notice of that. The more that you can get in their ear, it's an old expression, but the squeaky wheel gets the oil. So the more loud and effective we are at our messaging, the better our results are going to be, and the more that we can do to impact agriculture in a beneficial way.
Reporting from Washington, D.C., I'm Damon Jones for the Farm Monitor.
All right, Damon, thanks so much. Meantime, in an effort to address the pressing issues of food insecurity and environmental concerns, the Cobb County School District recently hosted its second annual Ag Innovation Challenge. The event brought together finalists both from middle and high schools, each tasked with designing prototypes to tackle these challenges head-on. Among the distinguished panel of judges was former Georgia Governor Roy Barnes, underscoring the significance of the event and the innovative solutions being developed by the next generation.
We're in good hands. I was so impressed tonight with what I see. This is an urban county, And for so many to be involved and interested in agriculture, and the depth that I saw is truly remarkable. So I think it gives me hope. You know, all we hear about is the bad kids. We don't hear about these great kids that we saw tonight.
Well, this next family has seamlessly blended passion and purpose, transforming their sheep business into a thriving enterprise, marked by significant growth and success in recent years. As John Holcomb reports, their unwavering commitment to producing top quality products has been the cornerstone of their achievements.
What started off as just a way to make extra money while in college has turned into a passion for Tucker and Emily West, a young farming couple that got married in 2020 and decided to turn their dream into a reality with Liberty Farms Livestock, a sheep operation just outside of Augusta that's dedicated to providing great quality lamb to their customers.
We actually run a Katahdin ewe-base, which are one of the most hardy types of sheep, and they're real popular here in the Southeast. They're resilient, they're tough on environment, they're great mamas, got great maternal instincts. The adaptability is fantastic on them. So we really try to keep a focus on that Katahdin ewe-base. And then we breed with a white Dorper. That way we get that carcass quality and that yield back out of the lambs. The Dorper breed is known for their meatiness, their rail weights, and their yield percentages coming off carcass. So we've been able to kind of narrow that down to where we want it to be.
In the last couple of years, business has exploded for them, as they've managed to tap into farmers markets, grocery stores, and even restaurants, which according to West has been nothing short of a blessing as their demand continues to exceed their expectations.
That's kind of caught us by surprise. We thought we would deal with more ethnic groups and those kind of markets, but we've actually haven't been able to tap into those just because we're having trouble meeting the demand of the regular markets. But we sell a lot to like independently owned grocery stores or like markets. We sell a lot to that, and we have a farmer's market over on Lake Oconee that we visit from May through December, and we're able to sell a lot straight to the consumer that way. And we've also built a great relationship with some restaurants in the state, and we've been able to work with Cam Floyd a good bit, and just being able to build those relationships has been the biggest key to getting our product out there.
As for the future, West says they want to continue to see their operation grow, one that is sustainable for them and the family they're currently expanding, all while also still striving for that great quality product that speaks for itself.
The most important thing for us now that we're expecting our first child in July is making this operation generational. And how can we continue to grow and make it profitable off the land that we have to where my kids can come back and still do what we do here? Whether it's sheep or cows or the chicken houses, whatever that case may be, having an operation where they can come back and still continue this generational farm. That's probably the most important, and second is quality. At the end of the day, business is great and volume's great, but I want to make sure that we're putting out the best quality product that we possibly can, and that chefs or individuals or customers at restaurants or people at the farmers market or at the retail locations, that when they buy our product, that it's the best piece of lamb meat they've ever had.
Reporting in Crawfordville for the Farm Monitor, I'm John Holcomb.
Well, everybody, Ranger Neck coming up next. You know, I cannot see you, but what I'm seeing right now is what you're seeing on the screen, and I'm going to explain how researchers at the University of Georgia are using this to study ticks and mosquitoes after the break.
If you are or know Georgia Farm Bureau members ages 18 to 35, listen up. Registration is now open for the Young Farmers and Ranchers Summer Leadership Conference. This annual event will take place on Jekyll Island, July 17th through 20th, 2024. At this conference, we are equipping and preparing the future of agriculture to lead our industry. Join fellow young farmers from across the state for a time of growth and networking. Conference activities include relevant breakout sessions, Wife and R award competitions, keynote speakers Johnny Joey Jones and Kevin and Lydia Young of Young Family Farms, a fish fry with live music, a social, and much more. Registration closes June 1st, so head to gfb.ag/YFRSLC to sign up. We can't wait to see you there.
All right, so what you're looking at there is not some kind of alien creature. No, that is a tick. Yep, the same kind that you might get stuck onto your leg after walking through a field or the woods. And I'm sitting here in the College of Veterinary Medicine as part of the wildlife disease study with an expert on ticks and other bloodsuckers, and that's Dr. Chris Cleveland. Hey, Doc.
Ranger Nick, it's a pleasure. Thanks for your time.
So good to be with you. Thanks for spending time with me today talking about something like ticks. And I got to ask you, what about ticks interests you? Why study these? What's the value?
I think it's a great question. I think if you've been out in the woods in Georgia, you've been out in the field, chances are you've been bitten by a mosquito, bitten by a gnat, had a gnat in your eye, or had a tick crawl up your leg.
Right.
And so I think it's really important that we understand as much as we can about the ticks, but also every other sort of blood-sucking insect that's out there and how they're going to impact our animals, how they're going to impact our families, how they're going to impact wildlife. And so that's a lot of what we're trying to do with some of the work here at the Wildlife Disease Study.
And you know, the way that you're doing that is through innovative teaching. And I can't help but notice our friend here, your daughter, Daphne over here, is doing a wonderful job modeling this head contraption. What's going on here in terms of teaching?
You know, I have some amazing colleagues, Dr. Michael Yabsley and Dr. Anya Majewska here at the University of Georgia, who are working with the Educational Resources Center. And what we are doing are taking specimens from the field, going through a really fancy microscopic technique to create augmented reality and virtual reality images. And our whole goal here is to make these specimens that much more accessible from an educational perspective, right? So we can envision, like Daphne is modeling, taking a headset out to 4-H and putting these headsets and iPads on students so that they can actually manipulate and see the specimen up close and personal. And then we can couple that with a dissecting microscope and a live specimen. But the ability to see a tick in color, to manipulate and move the tick around is really important. We can understand then what is the tick that we found on us, what is the mosquito that's biting us, and encourage further retention or enrollment in STEM education across the grade levels.
And that's what I'm talking about, hooking students like Daphne, who's doing a great job modeling this, by the way, getting them excited about science. Ticks will tick you off, and we want to encourage folks to get excited about them and studying them. So what I want to do now, we were talking about going into a lab. I want to go into a lab, talk about what happens with a real tick and what goes on to study them in that environment. Let's go there next. All right, so earlier, out in the field, dragging for ticks, the team of researchers actually found a few of them. We got them off of that piece of cloth, brought them into the lab, and lo and behold, I run into Taylor Pearson. Hey, Taylor.
Hey, Nick. So great to meet you.
Great to meet you. Taylor's a PhD student in the College of Veterinary Medicine right here at the University of Georgia. And Taylor, we've got this fancy microscope. We're inside of this fancy lab. I'm a little bit out of my element here. Talk to me about what are you doing once you get that animal? It's on this Petri dish. What are you looking at? What are you studying?
Yeah, so Nick, we are looking at key morphological features that are specific to each of these tick species. And so we're looking at things like the scutum or its hard shell here that you see on the back. Okay. We're looking at its mouth parts, how long they are, how short they are. And we use dichotomous keys to help us out with that. And so they come with lots of different pictures, and we're looking at different coxal spur sizes. We're looking at how many teeth are present, but we also take into context where we found this tick. Did we find it in Savannah, Georgia on the coastal plain, or did we find it up in the Appalachian corridor? So sometimes location can help us also determine species. But yeah, all we do, we take them down, we identify them to species, and then we'll put them in our tubes here. And then we'll take these tubes and cute little fellas, right? We'll take these tubes and we will do molecular diagnostics on them. So we will extract their DNA. We will get the tick DNA itself. We will also search for pathogens. So things like Borrelia burgdorferi, the causative agent of Lyme disease. We're also looking for Ehrlichia or anaplasmas, like different pathogens that can infect wildlife, domestic animals, livestock, and people.
And I'm wondering about that idea of the spread of some of those animals and the spread of that disease. And you all, from the location and looking at that animal, can tell a lot. And that's interesting. Now, what I'm curious about then is once we get that information, how do we help the public identify things and map where these animals are? And that's what I want to do next. So I'm going to visit a little bit more with you. I want to talk about what you at home can do. So let's go there now. All right, so if you're like me, you're walking around in the woods or out in the field at home, you walk through one of those nests of ticks, and maybe you get one of those lint rollers, and you lint roll off the ticks. And here's a lint roller sample with a bunch of ticks stuck to it. Or maybe you find an engorged tick on one of your livestock or a pet at home. Might happen to have a fancy vial like this to put it in. What do you do with those things to take them somewhere to learn more about why they're there and maybe potential diseases associated with them? Taylor, what would you say? What do we do with this kind of stuff?
Yeah, absolutely. So if it's off of your person, I would definitely recommend putting it in a little Ziploc baggie and saving it for a couple days. Watch out for any development of symptoms. And if you start noticing any fever, any chills, any malaise, definitely take it to your doctor. And that is good case history to know. As far as your livestock, you could probably take it to your county extension agent, and then they partner with the Southeastern Cooperative Wildlife Disease Study, or SCWDS, where we're at right here, to identify those ticks and potentially do any pathogen testing with it.
And what's so cool about that, again, involving extension in this, but being able to map where these things are and look at those, and that's the secret to some of the work that you're doing. I'm so grateful that we had a chance to meet together today, and I tell you what, this is one of those ones that you're going to want to check out the website that you see in there, and while you're online, checking out more about the Farm Monitor and the Ranger Nick Facebook page while you're on there. I can't thank you enough for what you did for us today. Thank you so much. And until next time, for the Farm Monitor, I'm Ranger Nick, reminding you, as I always do, that enthusiasm is contagious. So pass it on. Y'all, thanks so much for watching. We'll look forward to seeing you right back here again, this time next month. See ya.
Up next, the man many credit for saving the Georgia peanut industry. How his groundbreaking work transformed farming and impacted your favorite peanut products.
Hello, everybody. Ray and Kenny from the Farm Monitor. Would you like to receive the Farm Monitor directly to your inbox each week? Turns out you can.
Yeah, every Monday morning we'll send out an email with our segments and features from the previous week, along with a link to the show known as Farm Monitor Weekly. The best part? It's free. Just go to farm-monitor.com and click on the subscribe tab to sign up.
You're probably among the 98% of Americans not directly involved in farming, but farming and cows sure do have an impact on your life. Dairy cows and dairy farmers make amazing contributions to the food system and ecosystem, which affects what you eat and how you live. On top of that, cows are just plain cool. Think about this: 80% of a dairy cow's diet can't be eaten by people. They eat grass, alfalfa, corn, wheat, and plant waste left over from manufacturing, like almond hulls, orange peels, and cottonseed. You ever try eating an orange peel? Ew. But cows love it, and it benefits the planet when they turn waste material into wholesome milk. That milk contains nutrients essential to human health, such as calcium, vitamin D, potassium, and protein. How amazing is that? The secret is every cow's 4-chambered stomach that unlocks energy and nutrients to help them upcycle 306 million pounds of food waste into nutritious, delicious dairy foods every year. It's nice to know that animal care is a #1 priority on dairy farms too. Farmers focus on what's good for cows, good for the farm, and good for the planet. For more fun facts about cows and dairy farming, watch our other short videos in this series. Visit us online at thedairyalliance.com.
Finally this week, from our friends at UGA, the story of a true pioneer whose work many credit with saving the Georgia peanut industry.
From battling the devastating tomato spotted wilt virus to revolutionizing peanut varieties, Bill Branch's impact resonates far beyond the fields.
Our industry, because of tomato spotted wilt virus, was destined for extinction.
If you had to pull out one thing that saved the industry, would be the Georgia Green, and every variety since then that has better resistance. Finding that one variety saved our butt at that point in time.
Known as the inventor of Georgia 06G, came familiar with his work and an impact that it had on the industry, but I call him the godfather of peanuts.
Oh, I don't think I saved the peanut industry. I don't believe that.
When that variety come out, Bill Branch's name also started to be talked more and more. So yeah, I think everybody knows who Bill Branch is.
When Bill got here, it was, we were basically growing two varieties of peanuts almost. We grew Flow Runner, which was an old original hardline variety, and we grew GK7s, which was a Gold Kiss variety. But we ended up with a disease called tomato spotted wilt virus.
The tomato spotted wilt virus attacked his field unmercifully.
That's bad wilt virus.
It was bad for his pocketbook, losing a lot of money on his 2.5-acre pepper field.
San Antonio, Texas. We went out early to a field day. You would not believe the effect that tomato spotted wilt was having down there. That's when I first saw it.
So here we are with a problem. There's not something that we could spray. There was nothing that we could do, and we had to have plant resistance. Bill already had been working on these different peanuts, and he could screen this one variety and figure out that he had resistance to tomato spotted wilt.
The yield of Flow Runner was going down, 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 and we had to come up with something that would counter that, at least start it back up, and Georgia Green started it back up.
And Georgia Green basically saved the Georgia peanut industry at a time when we had to have it.
If we wouldn't have had that cross, that cultivar, we might not be the #1 peanut producing state in the U.S., which we grow about 50 to 55% of all the peanuts.
So from that then, he understood what he could do moving forward to be sure that all the new varieties that he came up with also had the resistance to the disease. So it was Georgia Green, then it became Georgia Greener. All of a sudden we get Georgia 06G. It's been the standard.
It's almost 20 years now that we've had that variety commercially available and on more than 50% of the acres. By the time it got to 2012, it was on about 90% of the acres.
I am proud that we finally got the growers off of that downhill slope that Flow Runner was on and started it back up, and hopefully it'll continue on up and up and up.
So where will we be as an industry without these milestones that we've reached with, Georgia Green, Georgia 06G, and some of the brand new ones we're fixing to see now? One, we would not have the acres that we have now, so we would not be the leading producer in the U.S.
With Dr. Branch accelerating the ability of peanuts being more available for everyone and increasing yields, really pushed the boundaries for all breeders and ultimately growers to have a greater impact on, again, shellers and growers and manufacturers.
Bill Branch's influence wasn't just at the farmer, but the consumer lives that impact, because I love peanut butter, but I want it to taste good, and I want it to be reasonably priced. And the fact of the matter is that Bill has given us the ability to have an adequate supply of peanuts that really taste good, and that not only work for the farmer, but they work for all of us.
Well, it's a tremendous honor to be in the Agriculture Hall of Fame in Georgia. I can't say enough gratitude to all the folks that helped me get here, because the list would be very long. But the good Lord deserves all the credit, not me.
Congratulations, Bill Branch. Great work. And special thanks to you for making the show possible.
Yes, thank you indeed. Take care, everybody. We'll see you next time right here on the Farm Monitor. Stay safe and have a great week.